here's how you can successfully launch your first podcast. Now, before we get into it, I just want to remind you that I have helped a lot of podcasters start, grow, and scale their podcasts. And not just that, I have helped them to also use their podcast as their solid marketing tool slash sales growth partner. So if you want to learn more about this, I recommend you to watch the series of videos that I'll be posting here on a daily basis. If not, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to, support where it makes sense. And I can just set up like a one-on-one call free to just guide you through it. Now, let's get into starting a podcast. Starting a podcast for your business, it's extremely easy in terms of the idea, in terms of like getting into like the equipments, doing this, doing that. What is the hard part is having a goal for it. What I want you to do before even launching a podcast is like, do I actually have a goal for it, or it's just the idea of like having a podcast that I'm just worried, or I just want to have it just to say like I have a podcast, right? Because a lot of us start from like that point of like, I enjoy talking to people, and I like doing this, so because they are like on a mindset of like a content creator, they get to have this idea of like, okay, I can create more content, I can do this, I can do that. They fully can't. It's just because they don't have a goal. It's going to be more like a hobby. I enjoy talking to people, so my every time I feel like I want to talk to someone, I'm going to talk to them. Doesn't mean like I'm going to have a podcast with them or anything, right? I just enjoy talking to people in general, and I happen to record things, and that's pretty much it, which is a hobby. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong with that is like, this type of people, they would just want to have or monetize their podcast in like 2 months or whatever, and they feel like they're drained, they don't have resources to maintain their editing, this that, so they shut it down, which is a good thing for another podcaster who's really active and they know exactly what goal they are after. So what I want you to do first to launch a successful podcast, have a goal. My goal out of the podcast is like to attract founders, CEOs, owners, to talk about their journey. And at the same time, I highlight solutions that, for example, they went through certain problems. I'm going to highlight these solutions to them or to their audience. So because their network is going to be like full of like founders and CEOs and owners, directors, VPs, and all of these. And my solutions, my product, my service is going to be a solution to their problem. So what I'm going to have is like, every time I'm going to record an episode, they and I are going to talk about their problems, their challenges. I will be also sharing my point of view out of that, and then also I'm going to highlight the solutions that I've built through it. So I'm sharing my areas of expertise, allowing also my guests to give their perspectives and tell me whether, oh, this is actually a great idea, tell me more about that, and we will be sharing more. Later on, I can use that to also monetize the podcast, so I can just reach more founders. I can talk to a lot of brands in which they would invest into these type of founders, right? So it depends upon like what kind of goal you will set for the podcast. It will define what kind of workflow, what kind of plan you will have to follow. Because if you have the goal, it will be extremely easy for you to set a system like every single guest, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to set, the promotion, this is what I'm going to focus on marketing this on social media, and I'm going to focus on attracting these type of sponsors, because I'm going to tell them like, hey, I built like a network where I have like a lot of founders and a lot of CEOs, and I guess like your target is also similar. I'll be happy to give you access to the community that I built, and this is the price, this is what I'm doing for it. So you see like how the podcast converted from just being a conversation that you would have with someone to an investment, like planted the seeds. So I guess I have like my slacking, so I gotta go now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys on my next one. Bye bye.